Welcome back to Maths with Arjun channel. So in the previous video we have completed the chapter 4, that is practical geometry. So if you have not watched the playlist, so kindly go to the channel and watch the playlist. Now in this video we are going to start with the chapter 5, that is data handling. So without wasting any time, let's jump into the video. So let's see the different type of information that we are going to encounter in this chapter. So in the day-to-day life, we come across the information such as runs made by a batsman in the last 10 test matches, number of wickets taken by a bowler in the last 10 ODIs, number of story books read by each of your friends, and much more. So what is common in all these cases is that the information collected is called as data, and data is usually collected in the context of the situation that we want to study. That depending upon the situation, we collect the data and represent it according to the type of the way we want to represent it. Now let's see that different ways how we can represent the data. So first is a pictograph. So what is a pictograph? Pictorial representation of a data using symbols. So in this data there is different months, July, August and September, and we have to represent the data as to number of cars produced in these months. So we have simply used, that is, one full car picture represent 100 cars. So in July, when we have counted, it says one full car 100, one full car 100, 200, and half car would represent 50. So it would represent 250. Similarly, in the month of August, there is one full car 100, one full car 100, one full car 100. So it represents sum equal to 300. Similarly, in the month of September, there is 4 full cars which represents 400. Now let's see the different type of questions which we are going to encounter. So it says how many cars were produced in the month of July. So you can clearly see that 250 cars were produced in the month of July. Next question says, in which month were maximum number of cars produced? Now based upon the number of cars or a pictorial representation, we can clearly see in the month of September, that is 400 cars, maximum cars were produced. Now the next method of representing the data is a bar graph. So let's see what a bar graph. Bar graph is a display of information using bars of uniform width, their heights being proportional to the respective values. That is, values of x-axis are proportional to the values of y-axis and vice versa. So height values are respectively proportional to the y-axis values. And on the right hand side you can clearly see the bar graph of the academic years and number of students in class 8th. So from 2003 to 2004, 100 students joined the school. From 2004 to 2005, 200 students joined the school. Let's see the different type of questions we can encounter. So it says, what is the information given by the bar graph? You can clearly see in the different academic years the number of students in the class 8th admitted. Next question says, in which year is the increase in the number of students maximum. So you can clearly see from the figure that in 2003 to 2004 there were only 100 students, whereas in 2004 to 2005 there is 200 students. So it has doubled in the year 2004 to 2005. Next question says, in which year is the number of students maximum? From the graph we can clearly see in the year 2007 to 2008, that is 350 students are the maximum number of students. Next question says, state whether true or false the number of students during 2005 to 2006 is twice that of 2003 to 2004. Let's see. In 2003 to 2004 there were 100 students, whereas in 2005 to 2006 there were 250 students. So it's more than twice. If it would have been twice, there would have been 100 from 100 to 200 students, but it's more than twice, so it's false. Now let's see the next type of way how we can represent the data. Next is double bar graph. So what is a double bar graph? A bar graph showing two sets of data simultaneously. That is when you have to make comparison of data, then we use double bar graph. Let's see the double bar graph. It says different type of subjects and the marks obtained by the students in the year 2005 to 2006 and the year 2006 to 2007. Now let's see what different type of questions we can expect in a double bar graph. So it says, what is the information given by the double bar graph? This I have already told. Next question says, in which subject has the performance improved the most? So we can clearly see in the maths the performance has improved the most, and it says by how much. So initially it was 30 marks and now it's 60 marks, so double the performance. Next is, in which subject has the performance deteriorated? Deteriorated means the performance has decreased. So you can clearly see in the English subject the performance has decreased. Likely initially the marks in the English were 60, but now they are reduced to 50. So the performance has deteriorated in English. Now next part says, in which subject is the performance at par? Now par means neither it has increased nor it has decreased. It is at par, that is equal as to previous year. So from the graph we can clearly see that in the Hindi the marks has neither increased and nor decreased. Now moving on to how we organize the data. So organization of data can be done using the frequency distribution table, which we are going to discuss soon. So first take an example to make it more easier to understand. So it says a group of students was asked for their favorite subjects and the result were below. Now the question says which is the most liked subject and which is the one least liked. So let's see how we can answer this question. So we are going to count the number of times the subjects have been liked. So we can have to draw the table. So the table includes the subjects, tally marks, which I will tell what tally marks is, and the number of students. Number of students would be the frequency. So different subjects are written: arts, mathematics, science and English, which are liked by the students. And tally marks is the representation in the mathematical form, like we have to represent the 4 sticks, and when there is fifth, then we do the diagonal cross over it. It's nothing but the frequency only, but the mathematical way of represent this is known as tally marks. Now after representing the tally marks, its analogy is the number of students. So that we have counted that likely in arts, number of students who are like arts is 7. Similarly, number of students who like science is 6. Number of students who like English is 4. So number of students is nothing but the frequency, and this table is known as frequency distribution table. Now we have seen the representation, the organization of the data. Now let's see how the grouping of data is done. So you can clearly see the different marks of a student scored, and we group them using the class intervals. So 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60 is the class intervals. Why we use this? So that it becomes easy to represent the data, and it is mostly used in case of continuous data. Similarly, from 0 to 10, 0 is known as the lower class limit and 10 is known as the upper class limit. There is one more concept that is known as width. So what is width? Width is the difference between the upper and the lower class limit. So from 0 to 10, what would be the width? Upper limit minus lower limit. That is 10 minus 0, which gives us 10. Now moving up to the bars with the difference, which is also known as histogram. So histogram is used in case of bars where there is use of class interval, that is the data is in continuous form. So class interval, as have already discussed what it is. What is frequency, I have discussed. So there is the marks of the students range 0 to 10, 10 to 20 and so on up to 50 to 60, and it is the number of students who have scored, that is the frequency, and the sum of the frequency is 60. On the right hand side of the screen you can see the bar graph, which is more clearly known as histogram. So from 0 to 10, marks of students, number of students who have scored between 0 to 10 is 2, and similarly between 50 to 60 only one student has scored. Now there is a special type of histogram in which we ignore the initial part as it is not necessary or unnecessary in case. Let's see why the initial part is ignored. So it says ages of 25 teachers of a school and number of teachers. So from 0 to 20 you can see a kinged or a jagged line, which is indicating that we are not showing the numbers between 0 to 20 because mostly the age of teachers is above 20. So using this type of line we represent the ignored part. After this there is same histogram which is constructed using the intervals. Now let's see the different type of questions which we are going to encounter in such histogram. So it says how many teachers are of age 45 years or more but less than 50 years. So more than 45 years but less than 50 years. That is between 45 to 50. So it says how many teachers are of the age less than 35 years. So it's 20 to 25 and 25 to 30. So that's it for today. In the next video we are going to solve exercise 5.1 and see the different type of application of the concept that I have discussed in this video. So kindly like, share and subscribe the channel, as well as watch the previous chapters playlist, which gives us motivation to keep on creating more and more videos for you. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much.